Good evening, folks, and welcome back to APPF1 for tonight's dose of racing action. And I'm proud to be here for what is the 20th season of APPF1 Tier 1. It's been a long old time since we've had an official stream on. We've been away, of course. We've had the odd stream where we've had off-season races, but we're here finally in round number 1, of course. In one of two Spanish circuits on the calendar this year in F1 2026. This being, of course, the track we all know and love, Barcelona de Catalunya. Fantastic venue. Don't know what I'm playing around with, to be honest. It's just that tyres, we know what the tyres are. I don't think we really need any detail. I think we're all good. But let's get out on circuit. Let's find our drivers. Let's find a lead driver. It looks like it's going to be Hugo. All coming out of the pits to start getting lapping. But yes, welcome back, everybody. It's been a long while. I'm happy to be here. I'm Sumo, of course. Those of you who are new. Hello, Denko. Hello, Kevin in the chat. Hope people are keeping cool on. I mean, wherever you are in the world. I suppose if it's hot, then hope you're keeping cool, staying hydrated and all that. I certainly am. Got a glass of water. I've just had a nice lolly as well, so I'm as hydrated as I can be for this event, which is the 27th time we've held a race at the Barcelona de Catalunya circuit. Of course, we're almost at that number 30, another milestone, but we're not there. But we're here for qualifying, of course, as always. Everybody's coming out. We're going to take you on a lap around this circuit. And of course, if you have been living under a rock, unless you've been living under a rock, you'd have known that the regulations have changed. And the batteries in these cars are completely different. The engines are completely different. The aeros completely different as well. But this circuit certainly hasn't changed in, well, recent years. But anyway, crossing the line does Hugo to start us off with the first competitive lap of Tier 1. Driver coming out of the pits up ahead into turn number 1 though, braking just before that 100 metre ball, but actually lifting and then braking a little bit later. But through turns 1 and 2, this long right hander through 3, you've got to be so patient as the car drifts all the way out to the left here to set up the next turn, turn 4. Again, you can notice that lifting and then coasting into the corner and then braking that a little bit later. That's what you've got to do this year to keep the battery charged. In towards turn 5 now, downhill hairpin as Hugo gets it all sort of wrong on the exit. Manages to keep it though, but that won't be his best lap of this evening. Up through turns, I think that's 7 and 8, and then in towards turn number 9 now. Does he go flat? Or maybe a little lift there from Hugo as he's gone through this corner, down of what is the first of 2 overtake zones, I believe. In towards turn 10 we go, and in towards 11 and 12 through this section of the track. And of course no chicane anymore, as a couple of years ago, but it's amazing section of 2 pretty much flat out corners as Hugo rounds us off in that scarlet red Ferrari, crosses the line for what is a 1 minute 13.9. I believe there's an Alpine just behind. That's Rooms of 14.0. Another Alpine as well, a Red Bull. Getting used to this again. As a Lifebout goes fast, it's a 13.4. It's going to be Lawrence next in the Haas. It's a McLaren of Koru that's gone up into 4th place as well. But we're on board with Lawrence right now, a 14.5 for the 2-time Tier 2 champion, of course. The other Aston Martin, wherever they are, there they go. That's ET8. I'm assuming that's Chris. I only know one driver from ET8. Well, with ET8 at the start of their name. And I can only assume it's Chris. Correct me if I'm wrong, as the 2 Cadillacs of Dakar and QVR Verstappen make their way up there. New teams on the track, of course. Here's one of them. Audi crossing the line. That's the Scotsman, Jack Alaco. We're going to have to try and not get confused between Haas and Cadillac because their dots are exactly the same colour, which is endlessly frustrating for the spectators, especially us commentary professionals. Of course, Rashka coming across the line now as well. Into P11 he goes. I think that was Rubialski. No, that was Mahmoud in his Red Bull. It's Beakery's invalidated their lap. Bavish has invalidated theirs as well. So only those 3 drivers to go. Finley down in the 1 minute 26.9. This must have been an issue on the lap, surely. Surely for Finley. Finley is, of course, the man with the track record around here. 1 minute 10.942. I'm not sure if we're going to get quite close to that time. You never know. We might see. As the Moob. Let's go with Moob. I'm going to call them Moob. As he gets up into P6 in the Red Bull. If I pronounce anyone's names wrong, who I knew, of course, I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm just taking my best guess. It really is a struggle as a commentator sometimes with some of these names that you guys come up with. But do correct me. I am a reasonable human being, of course. If I'm saying your name wrong, then please correct me. Because I will then endeavour to make it sure that I'm doing it correctly. But that's the first wave of laps done, and I mean a pretty mighty gap, it must be said. About 7/10 of a second between ETA, Chris, I guess. It says Tomek putting in a 1:13.2, so closing that gap by 2/10 of a second. We're now 5/10 of a second is the gap now. The biggest qualifying gap is on 0.526, so we're just under that, I think. Yes, it's 5:16. Oh, please tell me my PC's not just turned off again. Okay, no. Oof. I thought I was having trouble with overheating, but we're not. Don't panic, everybody. Yes, we've got all these lovely stats. Hello. I haven't looked at the chat because I've been looking at these amazing stats that I never have ever in these commentary streams, but Ghost has kindly provided them. I think Mahmoud might be on another lap. We'll keep an eye on them as they're going faster, it seems. Just hello again. The thunderstorms happen here. Shaking my head, what in the sorcery. Check my account because it's hot and cool. It's a turn from the gym. Oh man. I wouldn't bother to get to the gym. Not in this weather. Hello Yaram. Hello again. How are we doing? Hoping we're staying cool and hydrated in this horrible weather. It's currently 29 degrees. It was at 32 at the highest I saw it today. As Mahmoud gets himself just on the cusp of the top 10 with a 1:14.191. That's Rooms in the Alpine making their way around. And I do feel for the drivers driving in this weather, of course. I mean, it's nowhere near the temperatures that real Formula 1 drivers have to put up with and put their body through, but it may as well be when you're driving like this, because the concentration it takes to go around this circuit for what is effectively 30, well, I suppose you do 3 qualifying laps on average, so you're doing 36 laps, but you know, not counting the in laps and out laps, of course. But then another 33 laps of racing action as well. It's a lot to do for anyone. I remember last year was a struggle, and it was quite cool, all things considered, last year compared to this. So this definitely is a struggle for everybody. But I hope we're all watching this, and not what is going to be a cracker of a World Cup game of the France and Norway, or Mbappe versus Haaland. I mean, I will definitely be watching it with one eye while commentating on this race for you all, as Rooms makes their way around in the Alpine. Let's see where he can place himself. It's not a very good lap, but I think he might push on this one. Trying to warm up those tyres, perhaps, get him into a better window. Hugo out there on an improvement, so we'll follow him for now. His first lap really was only good enough for 8th once everybody started coming in anger. Only ETA Riderdahl, I hope it's Chris, has broken into the 1:12. Let's see what Hugo can do. It looks like he might be about to do it as well. Not quite. 13.3, puts him just behind his teammate out on the circuit there. Jack Lacko, I believe, is on a lap. Maybe, no, looking at the wrong Audi. That is, of course, Ghost, the man with the most wins and poles around here, I believe. Most wins, most podium, and most poles. He's got them all. He even holds the smallest pole gap between himself and Rick of 0.006 of a second. I wonder if we'll get anywhere near that sort of gap between our drivers today. I think that was Grant's. Yes, it was. coming across the line. There's another Alpine on the way. That's going to be Runes now. Only good enough to put him into 10th. Half a 10th improvement from Runes. Is that Resha crossing the line? It is. He goes into 10th place now. Now Jackalacco up into 9th. That was the McLaren of Finley. There we go. Much more representative time from Finley. Up there on the front row, of course. And that's Tomek starting a lap. Let's see what Koru's up to. He's also about to start a lap. It's either a Haas. It's a Haas. It's Lawrence. My good friend and nemesis crosses the line. I think that's Ghost next, crossing the line as well. As Audi's occupying the last 2 spaces in the top 10, of course. No elimination in the way we qualify here in APPF1. It's just one session of qualifying. You've got 18 minutes to put down the fastest lap you can. It's going to be Rubiowski coming around the final 2 corners. Good evening, Greenhill. How are we doing? Let's see what the Red Bull can do. Only 16th for now for Rubiowski. I think that's one of the Alpines crossing the line. That was Perez. I believe the other Red Bull, Mahmoud, is about to start in that. So is that Scott coming around the final corner? It is, but he's into the pit lane. Not happy with that lap. Reshkin into the pit lane as well. How about Koru? Where's Koru's progress? We're keeping one eye on him and these McLaren. So let's see what he comes around. I'll keep an eye on the table as well. I don't think anyone's about to improve. So Koru here, rounding the final couple of turns at this Catalonia track. And it's a 4/10th improvement, puts him up into P12. Decent lap for now. But of course, everybody's going to be getting used to these cars still. Everybody's going to be figuring out where's it. No, that's Chris. So who is ET8 Rider Doll? I think a new driver. And Chris has lost the car, very strangely. I don't know if he did that on purpose. Tier 1 slower than Tier 3. Let's have a look. Let's go to Tier 3's standings and stats and everything. Standings. Race results, there we go. Definitely not. Definitely not. Tier 3 is a second slower. ET8 Rider Doll, who is not Chris. We figured that out. Chris has joined, or is at least in the lobby. Actually, I just didn't see him. So Rider Doll is a new driver here. I'm glad I've worked that out and not been calling them Chris effectively for the rest of the race. That would be silly of me, wouldn't it? And I'm checking even faster than Tier 2. Tier 2 actually only about 2/10 faster than Tier 3 with Kevin's pole lap. So Tier 1 blowing all the other tiers out of the water. This is the information you requested and has been given, so there you go. But yes, all the drivers will still be getting used to these batteries, of course, understanding where to deploy, how to deploy, and to do it. I've got my head around it myself a little bit, but it's going to take a bit of fine tweaking, especially in a race situation, for sure. Let's see who's out on the circuit. Rooms is there. Let's see, is B. Courage on a lap as they're coming around the final couple of turns. Doesn't peel into the pit lane, so I can only assume they are. Looks like a decent attempt this time. 1:13. Could see them up there. No, only a 2/10 improvement. Up into 12th from 16th. But you'd hazard a guess that more drivers will be out there looking for time, such as this man, Rubiowski. But what about his teammate into the pit lane? Never mind. Room's about to start a lap as well. Let's follow along with Rubiowski then. 2/10 already in the first sector. That's already shot him up into that P13 sort of position right there. So any more time to be found. Now down, actually, as he crosses the sector 1 line. So definitely not an improvement there. Anybody else out on a lap right now? Tomek is out on a lap at the minute. It's looking like a session dominated by Rider Down at the moment. I don't think I've actually seen him out in the last set of runs, but he's come out again, so he is out on the track, so we'll see what he can manage. But all the drivers, well, some of the drivers I asked for a comment on their battery around the circuit and said it's not that bad, and there's only really 2 places you can use it to get overtake, so it's best to save it as best you can. I mean, the strategy is seemingly from everything I've heard, is to run it in medium at all times and then do your best to save where you can and deploy where you can. That's all I really know about the strategy for saving the battery. Finley's got himself a 5-place grid penalty. Collision with Chris. It looks like that would have been coming out of the pit lane. That's an awkward one. We didn't see what happened there. But there's Runes up into 16th. I don't know if that was one of the Hasses of the Cadillacs. I think it might have been Dakar, maybe. No, I don't know. It's Scott. It's Scott, everyone. Don't panic. It's so annoying having 2 white dots on the grid. It makes me hate the Cadillac livery even more. And that's Ryderdale actually. Improves by about a 10th, or less than a 10th actually. 700ths effectively. So stretches the gap out for everybody else. We're not going to get that biggest. We're not going to beat that biggest qualifying gap record. So we're not having that today. Could we beat the smallest? Could anybody get themselves near this Aston Martin in these final sessions? I think Koru's on a lap. I'm trying to sniff out the next driver to come across the line. It seems like it's Scott. So we'll follow along with Scott. I'm not sure how much is up. Yeah, anyone's allowed to reserve in Tier 1. I mean, Tier 1 is the home of a lot of the, what I like to call the freaks. Nothing wrong with them personally, I'm sure, but they're just insanely fast and have seemingly infinite time to spend on this game. Which is fair enough. If you're good at something, why not double down? That's what I say. Reshka's crossing the line now to start his final run. We are in the dying moments of the session. It's got to be Damu. So is that Ghost? No, but Ghost is out on a lap, so it must be Jacko that's there. I'm really sorry about this, guys. It's quite hard to tell who's on a lap and who isn't without flicking through incessantly. Grant's isn't on a lap, so we're looking at an Alpine now. Perez actually, because that's rooms there. I want to say it's going to be Ghost. It is Ghost. It's a 10th. That's Koru, I think, just improved his lap time actually, but Ghost only goes into P9. There's a Red Bull about to come across the line as well. Let's follow along. I think that's not Scott. That's going to be Verstappen, is it? No, it's Dakar. No, it's not even Dakar as well. It could have been Lawrence, to be honest. He's right at the back, which is Room's a slight improvement on this occasion. Doesn't improve his position. I think that's Bavish just behind him. 3/10 shoots him up into P13. Not a bad effort there. I think that's Hugo, maybe. No, that was Tomek crossing the line, but Hugo is out and on a lap, so we'll follow along with him. Can he get himself in amongst it? There's a Haas or a Cadillac off at the final corner. Hopefully that didn't distract Moob, who crosses the line. Only 0.05 of a second to improve. And that Williams is coming to the pits. Yes, that looks like it. Here comes Hugo then around the final couple of corners. Nobody's really been able to trouble that full 10th gap. And Hugo can't do it either. Ryderdale currently on his way for his debut pole position here in Tier 1. Is there anybody else? Koru way down in the order. Ryderdale's out on track again. Yeah, they're not doing anything, they're just rotating those, I think. Lawrence, can he improve from the bottom of the pile? He can, ahead of both Red Bulls. And let's ride it out, crossing the line as well. And I think that's your lot. So, not the most exciting of qualifying sessions. There's some decent gaps in amongst it. You've got Dakar, Grants and Moob all close together. Ghost and Chris RPL and Kvyat Verstappen close-ish as well. Hugo, Tomek, Finley all close together. Lifebout's actually the only other driver who's managed to get into the 1 minute 12.8. But that's your lot for qualifying. It's an Aston Martin 1-2 Something that you will not be hearing in 2026 in real Formula 1, let me tell you. Unless we get some freak race or only the Aston Martins are left finishing. But that's it. It's Riederdal, pole position for the first time in APPF1 here in Catalonia for round 1 of Tier 1 Season 20. Nowhere near that fastest lap, by the way. Fastest qualifying lap. Nowhere near. We're about 2 seconds away from that. As it's Riederdal, then your pole sitter for this evening. Lifeboat, his teammate's going to line up alongside him there as well. Then we've got Finley with a 5-place grid penalty, so he'll go down all the way to about 7th or 8th there. With then Tomek, Hugo, Daker, Grant, Smoob, Ghost, and Chris, the top 10 with Verstappen, Carres, Koru, Bavish, Chakalaka, Reshka, Rune, Scott, Lawrence, Rubiowski, and Mahmoud at the bottom of the grid. Yeah. Coffee, which is, I believe, Avenir. We are definitely nowhere. Tier 3 is nowhere near slower, faster than Tier 1. Nowhere near. We've got about a second between them. And I mean, Tier 2 is not much better. It's only a couple of attempts. But, I mean, we've done well with placing everybody, it seems. I mean, I don't know. I'm only here for to watch the races and comment on them, rather than set everything up. I'll keep my eye on this, but Norway and France are about to kick off, and it could be a spicy one. I'm saying like 2-2, maybe like 3-2 France. Put your predictions for that in the chat. And put your predictions for this race in the chat as well. Will Riederdal be able to hold everybody off and keep the lead that he gained in qualifying? Will his teammate be able to get involved as well? Will the Ferraris get themselves in there? Will Finley recover from that 5-place grid penalty? All's yet to be decided here as we anticipate this opening round of the championship. And we're going to go racing in just a few moments' time. 5 red lights for the first race in Tier 1 Season 20. And we are underway and racing. I've got no sound right now, but then it cuts in like that. Let's see the 2 Aston Martins get away well. Tomek in amongst it as well. Everybody's ghosted for the time being, but now we're all going. It's about 4 wide as we go into turn number 1. Between many of these drivers, it's a sandwich, but I'm amazed how they've all managed to get through there. Fantastic stuff from all these Tier 1 drivers, and they're still scrapping as they're coming through turn 3 now. It looks like Chris RBL's got away from it all as well. Ghost might have got caught up in some of that as well, but the back of the pack, they're all scrapping away. Finley, meanwhile, has got his way past Tomek. He's side by side, in fact. Tomek's got the inside and goes for it on his teammate. I don't think that was intentional from Tomek, but he's been forced to take that little bit of space. They're still side by side. Finley, Tomek backs out on Finley and lets Finley get through, and there's a little mistake maybe from Hugo, and Finley now going to take the advantage, smells the blood in the water, takes the move and takes the position. We've got a yellow flag. That's, I think, Lawrence off in the background. Whoa, that's a big dive from Chris RBL to get through a lot of cars. It's a lot of carnage going on through right now. I'm not really sure what's happened. Audi was ghosted for a little bit. There's Daker there as well. We'll have to see what the move gainers and position changes and all that are. If my controller would stop freaking the fuck out. There we go. But biggest winner on that lap, Finley, already got past his grid penalty and is already trying to make moves on Lifeboat. These two, of course, know each other very, very well from previous seasons here in APPF1. There's a lot of water under that bridge, let me tell you. Bavish also a big winner on that opening lap. Biggest loser was Grant and Daker, both down 9 and 7 respectively, and that's Finley up as well. We're going to have to talk about this action because it's fighting for what is the lead. Riederdal hasn't really pulled away from his team here as well, but it's going to be his teammate, but he's got Finley to worry about now. Let's have that interval up for you there. Let's have the tyres. Oh my god, this is... Stop it! Ah! There we are. Okay, I'm not going to fiddle with these too much because it really... I'll get lap data up for you and that's about it. But there we go. We've got everything set up now. But most drivers opting for the mediums. Finley started on the softs. I think that explains his rapid start. And then you've got the rest of the grid on to hards. Lawrence is boxed early, so he's going to be way down that sync with everyone else. Potentially a two-stop around this track, maybe. It was in real life, I think. Some even did a three-stop. Oh, it's bloody Michael Oliver as well. Oh dear. No chance. It's going to be a hell of a game. Oh dear, right, where are we? Right it down. Little bit of a tank slapper there on the exit. And actually, we've lost the bloody gap. Stop it. There we go. Oh. Yeah, I really need a new controller, but they are not cheap, these PS5 controllers, I'll tell you that. As Verstappen making a move on Bavish in the Mercedes, gets ahead of him. Looks like it was through 7, 8 and 9, but Bavish not happy to sit behind, but doesn't manage to do it. Dakar, can he find a way through here as well? These two, of course, Constructors Champions. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head of what season, but it was relatively recent. They're in the Ferraris, I believe, I do remember that. Or was it the Saubers? I don't know. I don't know. I'm too hot to look it up. But speaking of teammates, Chris RBL looking for a move maybe. Never mind. QVR Verstappen looking for a move. Well, looking to defend a move from Bavish. In fact, they're still side by side. Bit of wheel banging on the exit of 2. And QVR Verstappen has to give the place up to Bavish. But he's not going to want to leave it for too long. Is he? Can he get a move done? He's not really shaping it up for now. We're keeping an eye on the front here as well. It's all very close between everybody. The gap forms from Bavish. But one thing I can tell you about these new regulation cars is that battling is costly. It is very costly. If you are battling with another driver, then either the drivers behind or the drivers ahead have got an opportunity to catch or break away. And I've also learned that if you're a third driver in a train, then you are in the optimal place. I mean, that's always kind of been the case, I suppose, but especially for battery recharge. You will see that as well. So keep an eye on the batteries, keep an eye on everything. I'll do my best to do the same as well and point it out as and when I see it. But yes. Meanwhile, it's all calm at the front. Everybody's just settling in now. We're 5 laps into this race already. Relatively short circuit this, actually. Catalonia. Lots of high-speed corners. Lots of corners where you're on the throttle most of the time. And actually, we've had an incident. Is that Scott? No, it's not Scott. Who is that round? It's Lawrence again. And he's been lapped by the entire field. I think that might be the end of his day. In all honesty, I wouldn't blame him if it was. That's the 2 racing bulls going wheel to wheel, and that's Chris RBL, I think, definitely using battery there to get ahead of his teammate. This camera angle is awful, by the way. Absolutely atrocious. I still haven't fixed that, EA. The top 5, though, I think, starting to stretch their legs now. Chris RBL will definitely want to get into this conversation. He is a driver that on his day can win races. And he is Tier 1 champion, only once. I can't... Oh, what season? Was it season 10? Season 11? It was way back then, but those were some cracking seasons. You had Lifebout, Finley, Chris, all duking it out. Chris and Finley, of course, were teammates back then. Not this case. As it looks like Lifebout looking for a move on Finley. Can't quite find the way past. Finley just placing the car in the middle of the track there, which... It's his right to do, of course. He's going to defend that place as hard as he can. Reshka and Ghost having a little ding-dong further back as well. That looked like into turn 1. Keeping an eye on the proceedings down here, though. QVR Verstappen still yet to get past Bavish. He's got his teammate for company as well. So they'll hopefully work together to get their way up into, further into the top 10. But, of course, top 15 score points here in APPF1. 20 for a win. And then... I want to say it's 18 for second, 15, 14, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I believe. I've been here long enough, I should know. But, yes, points for the top 15, and it looks like Riderville starting to break away. Is that the wear of the softs coming into effect? Let's have a look at a little peek at batteries. Finley, of course, dumping it all in here on this main straight. Rydell doesn't feel the need to dump all of the battery here, but Finley's doing that. Lifebout's not for dumping all of it as well. He's saving a lot too on this instance. Hugo's saving a lot of battery. Tomek a lot of battery in the tank as well. Chris is closed up as well, as Q-Driver Verstappen has found the way past Babish into turn 1 this time. So these two swapping places. Dakia will definitely want to get himself in between his teammate and Babish's Mercedes. But Finley, heavy on the battery usage. He also needs to use a decent chunk of it. So can he continue? And it's already France 1 nil, everybody. Dembele by the look of things. Yeah. Okay. So everyone's settled into this race. We're going to be getting pit stops, I'd imagine soonish. Maybe not not too soon. I'm not sure on the strategy, to be honest. Anyone who did tier 2 or tier 3, what was the strategy like in there? Let me know. 1, 2 stop. Imagine a run. We've got 7 laps in already. Finley hasn't stopped yet, and Lifebout's looking for a move. He's caught right back up to Ryderbow, so the Tomek's now dropped off, and it's now going to find himself in a battle with the 2 Racing Bulls and Perez there as well for P5. That's all a big tank snapper from Tomek as he exits turn 5. There's so much more power when you put your foot down in these cars now. It's so easy to lose the car. And of course, these cars, they're not as planted as they were last year, as Finley is going on the attack now, looking for the outside of Rydell. Can't find a way through. Could that open up an opportunity for Lifebout to sneak down the inside? No, it doesn't. But these 4 all very, very close together, and they're all going to be sniffing for an opportunity now. And I think Finley's got to be coming in soon, you'd think. Not this lap, though. Going to stretch those softs out as long as possible. But as I say, you lose the car in this edition of the Formula 1 rules, I will say. Then it's a lot harder to catch it, I'll tell you that. Not a lot of... well, the floors aren't definitely much more simple than they were before. That's not Didier Deschamps. Who is that? Is he like ill or something? Weird. So I'm commenting on the wrong thing. Ferrari. Hugo sniffing the back of this Aston Martin, and it's just no way through for the time being. He's got his teammate now for company as well. Tomek's closed right back up. And again, it's the battling. The battling that does it. And I mean, when and where you're using the battery as well. Even Perez is starting to catch up onto the back of this. It's not as large a field spread as I thought. Lawrence is still going, in fact. Is he? No, he's ghosted. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe that's because of the blue flags. I haven't seen that he left. If you have left, Lawrence, and are in the chat, say hello. Tell us what happened. Wow, apparently. Oh, Lawrence. Oh, he's not having a good day out there. I'll spare him the embarrassment of being covered too much on this stream. Oh dear. But it's still very close between them. And they've all got pretty much full batteries. They've all got so much battery to deploy. I'd imagine countless hours of practice have gone in to try and figure out. I mean, drivers like Finley and Lifebout, race for like esports teams and such, they were definitely drivers who get a lot of hours in on this game. Noob right on the back of this train. Actually, Tomek's had a bit of a moment through 7 and 8. That's going to leave him a bit vulnerable, maybe. As one of the RBs, that's Chris RBL's gone way off. His teammate's going to go on the attack now. Right down the inside, the teammates clash wheels once again. Moob finds his way through this time. Chris looking a little bit laggy of the two Racing Bull cars. But it loses the place. Well, you'd thought he would have gained one, Chris, off the back of Tomek's mistake, but I think that he made his own mistake out of 9, and that left him vulnerable to his teammate. Lifeboat on the charge. He's going to pounce. There he goes down the inside of the McLaren. Pretty standard pass for Lifeboat, and he's back ahead of Finley for now. But his teammate Ryder up the road by 1.2 seconds. Can they close back up? More than likely, I would say. The gaps seem to open and close and open and close. In this instance, oh dear, Norway. Oh, nearly Elise. That's the life back closes right back up again. It's 10 laps, we're on lap 11. Still no pit stops from anyone bar Lawrence. It's got to be a one stop then, surely. Medium, hard, hot, soft, medium. Medium, hard, soft, hard. I'd imagine is the strategy. So is Finley holding out to pull the trigger when these guys do? Is he going to go for the undercut here as well? It's a relatively long pit lane here in Catalonia. It's pretty much the length of the straight. In the pits it's Bavish. He's had enough, so he's going to be the first driver to pit. Looks like hard tyres for the Mercedes. It is. So you think he'd go right to the end of the race. I'm pretty sure Spain is normally a one stop on the games. I think most tracks are, to be honest. It's just the optimal strategy. You can get away with a two stop if you've got the pace and you get the timings right. But one stop is typically the way to go. What's it looking like? Even a sausage with one stop. Yeah, they're all doing one stops now. Josh and Denko. Fair enough. Fair enough. Useful information for the bank, of course. But yes, one stop it is. QVR Verstappen, meanwhile. He's finally got rid of Bavish, who's pitted. But I'm sure he'll meet him again soon. As we're coming up to the pit. So I think the pit window definitely open now. Finley's in, followed in by Hugo as well. So he pulls the trigger, does Ferrari. Tomek doesn't follow him insensibly. It's going to be a moment of contention between the two RBs as well. I mean, typically, I don't know how much communication between these two drivers there is, Moog and Chris, but the lead driver will typically take the call first. Basically, if one comes in, we'll do the opposite of the other. Vice versa. And that's Koru and Jack Alako getting racy behind Reshka there as well. Still very close. Koru still just on the inside of Jack Alako, and he's going to turn that into his advantage. Closes the door on him. Jacko, no response really, and loses a place outside of the top 10. And that's a Scotsman under pressure, not only in this race, but for the World Cup as well. Scotland on the brink of failing to get to the knockout rounds in the World Cup. Back to the front, it's two Astons, so they've got to try and respond. Again, I don't know how much communication there is between Rotterdam and Finley. Lifeboat, I'm sorry. As in comes Tomek as well. So that's right on board. So Hugo's jumped Finley in the pits. Or maybe even as they've come out. I've completely missed that. But Hugo's managed to get through. He's passing Scott now. And, well, leaves Finley to navigate Scott as well. But let's see where Hugo's going to come out. There's a few drivers in the pits. His teammates heading to the end of the pit lane. They're probably jumping, definitely. Decent gap as well. Finley through. So he's going to go on the attack now on Hugo. With a decent gap, about 2 seconds, I'd have said. As Ghost is in the pits now as well, and way down in P20. What? No, no, he's pitted. Okay, it's Jack in the pits. But Ghost down in the latter half of this race. We'll see. Let's all calm down a bit toward the front. We're waiting to see what the front drivers do. We're looking at this top 4 really, as that's the interesting one. But the 2 teammates running 2x2. Or 2 sets of teammates running 2x2. Still the Aston Martins stay out. In comes Moob. So Chris forced to stay out unless he wants to double stack. We've got Hugo and Finley making their way around turn 12 now. So we're coming up to 13 and 14. Going back to those tyres changed. A few other drivers in the pits as well. This is Statham who's come in. I think there's going to be an undercut here. Oh, most definitely. There they are. Hugo and Finley. Yeah, no, I did get it right. As Finley passes Hugo into turn 1 and resumes the normal order. But Hugo won't want to let that one go. He's all over the back of this McLaren. Won't make it here. Maybe opt to save some battery. Maybe give it a go into turn 10. Keeping an eye on the strategy. As the pit stop window's open. Jack Palacco having a look at the outside of Reshka. Looks to the inside of Reshka. Can't find the way through in turn 4. Can he find it through turn number 5? Williams versus Audi. New team versus one of the, I guess, very much established and well-decorated teams for Formula 1. No way through for the Scotsman on this occasion. Lifeboat now into the pits. Chris and Ryder continue to extend. Finley and Hugo are now behind Runes and Mahmoud in the Red Bull. Lifeboat's on his way out. Here's Finley. Look to the right hand side of your screen. He's drawing level with Runes. And ahead of Lifeboat. He's jumped him. The undercut has served him very well. Hugo's jumped him as well. Decently as well. So you've got to think Ryder might be under some pressure now to not get undercut here by Finley as well. And the gap doesn't look overly big. It's about 19, 20 seconds. And I think it's a 23-second stop at Spain. So we are definitely looking at an undercut territory of about 3 seconds for Finley right now. And of course, Hugo not able to get past in the same way Finley does. That's a risky move for Hugo up through turn 9. Makes it work though. Mahmoud losing the space. And fair play, Hugo going for it when he knows he has to. Otherwise, he loses Finley. Was there contact there? I heard a weird funk noise. That's 2-0 France, by the way. Dembele again. As both the leaders are in now, Chris and Ryder. Here's Finley coming around the final corner. He's dropped Hugo by almost a second and a half. And he's going to drop the leaders as well. Come out ahead. Hugo, importantly, going to do the same. But he'll be under a bit more pressure as Ryder will be a lot closer. Mahmoud's going to challenge him through turn 1. Leads in the space as he exits the pits. They're side by side now. The Aston Martin goes straight through the tyre life of 1 lap old, well, barely a lap old tyres and 16 lap old tyres. Showing itself there. Lifeboat follows him straight through as well. Will it be a bit of inter-team battling between the two Astons? Because they're all battling for position. They're all going for it, these guys. But Finley with a very decent, I'd say about 2.7 second gap perhaps. We're right about closing that down. I'm scared to check because look at it, you can see it freaking out. I'm not touching the controller, so I'm not going to do it. Bavish, meanwhile, he's not got himself shot of Daker behind him still, but QVR Verstappen's worked his way away from him. Oh, it's 2-1. Oh my word. Oh, literally from kickoff. I told you this is going to be a cracker, folks. Maybe not so much this race. It's been some decent moments, but wow. The French goalkeeper just absolutely stunned. Didn't even look like he wanted to save that one. 2.3 is the gap to Finley. So about 2.7 is correct from the gap to Riederdal to the lead. It looks like he's going to have some pace in this car. We don't look like we're going to be getting any safety cars anytime soon. Nobody's really done anything. We've had 14 safety cars, 10 VSCs around this venue. His fastest lap time in the race is 1 minute 12.451. Fastest lap currently 15.3. We're getting nowhere near that, I can tell you. I think a lot of those lap records are going to be very much safe for a decent amount of time. And here comes Riederdal. Hugo, really no response. The battery using the overtake. It's all done and dusted. But Hugo will try and stay with him. But Riederdal now, he's got 2.4 seconds to catch up. He's got a 4-lap tyre delta over his rival up ahead of him. And he's just set the fastest sector 1 as well. Meanwhile, further back, QVR Verstappen making up ground again. He's got Perez ahead of him and Tomek as well, who definitely lost out in the pit stop phase. Chris RBL a little bit as well, but I suppose they're provisionally in 6 and 7. But Mahmoud letting Chris RBL through on that occasion. Not really in that fight. Riederdal, fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 15.1. Not what you want to see when you're leading the race. That's Finley. It's quite an intimidating thing to do. Lifebound jumps Hugo as well through turns 1 and 2. Hugo right on the coattails of Lifebound, but can't really do much here. And it's not the most effective move to go for, to be honest. Mahmoud letting more drivers through. Surely he's got to stop. As all, there's a bit of argy-bargy up ahead. QVR Verstappen's trying to get his way through Perez and Tomek and manages to do so. There's a big wheel banging and that's damage to Tomek's car as he brawls with the Alpine through turns 4 and 5. And they're still at it as well. And it looks like he's going to go around the outside. Is that surely going to work with the wing damage? Definitely not. Can't find his way through there. But I think a little bit of frustration creeping in for Tomek in the Ferrari. He might feel a bit hard done by that damage, but can't find a way through on this attempt. 2 seconds, the gap to the leader right now. It's been closed down by about 4/10. The hydration break has reminded me that I have no water. I have drank it all, so we're gonna have to go in dry for the rest of this session. You know what, I wasn't gonna say it. I hope it does get clipped now. Riederdal closing in again. That gap coming down by about another 2.5 tenths, 3 tenths now as well. Using the battery. I think they're both pushing. Riederdal, again, the fastest first sector of the race so far. Bavish and Mahmoud have come in now. I think that's Bavish's second stop. It is. Bavish on the 2 stop. What do you know? There's big gaps here. I mean, Riederdal again, just absolutely pushing. 1.4 now, closing right onto the back of Finley. And of course, it only matters for overtake mode. You have to be in a second when the detection point, which is that little blue dot. As you go through turn number 13 there, that's the zone. That tells the drivers if they've got overtake for the lap or not. But not on this occasion for Riederdal. The overtake, of course, giving the drivers extra battery power to use. which makes the RS drain way faster, but is a lot more effective. There's Jakalako and Koru battling through turns 12 and almost 13, but not on this occasion. Jakalako still looking at the back of that Williams. Ghost way down in P15. Where did he start this race? Oh wow, he started 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, not in 9th. So big loser on this occasion. Well, Ghost. Koru and Jacko still at it. Koru passes him yet again. Scott and Bavish getting racy as well. Scott around the outside of turn 1 and keeps the place. Is that Tomek? No, it's Hugo. It's Hugo. Hugo's had a moment through 7 and 8, and that's cost him to the RBs. He looks like he's going to keep going. Has he got damage on that car? Yes. Front right end plate gone on the Ferrari, and that's 2 Ferraris, both missing that. Both missing the opposite end plate. This is quite funny. So if they morph together, then they'd both have a full car. But then they'd be one car. Who would be driving? Those would be the 2 winners. We asked the interesting questions here on the Tier 1 streams. Number 2. Well, that's a big blow to Hugo's Tier 1 start for Ferrari. So we've got a few battles up and down the grid. It looks like it's the Reshka train for everybody from P12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Then Ryder is now caught up to Finley, so he's going to be feeling the heat. QBR, Verstappen and Perez, they're battling as well. The 2 RBs have been inseparable all race. So I'm keeping on some of these battles. I'm keeping on Ryder as best I can. Jacko on the back of Koru here as well. Reshka just sitting tight for now. I'm going to let them fight and see what happens. But it's fair to say Ryder and Finley have dropped Lifebout like a stone and are essentially the class of the field right now. That's Tier 1. Everyone else is Tier 1.5. Really? Oh dear. God, it is hot today. 2 RBs swapping places once again. Chris RBL getting his way up. That's Hugo into the pits. That's going to be a wing change and a hell of a recovery drive. And that's a Red Bull off. It's Rubialski. And Jesus Christ, I don't think the damage is that bad. But it's just a front wing with no nose. Oh, the visual glitches in this game are quite funny sometimes. Oh dear, it doesn't actually work, that car. Koru battling for P11 with Reshka, gets his way through. They were side by side through turns 1 and 2. Reshka, I think, on his left maybe. No, but he is going to dart down the inside of turn 4. Awful camera angles yet again from the game. And still Reshka's going to go for it. Round the outside of 5 now. And can't find the long way round. Can he get the up and under on Koru? He can't. Koru keeps P11. And these guys battling again, but down goes Reshka in the inside through turn 7 into 8 and gets the job done. And through there, Koru, I don't think was expecting it and let him go through. Off goes Rubialski again. Hugo way down in P18. He's got a lot of work to do. And oh my word, the 2 Audis now getting racy as well. Ghost is going to claim 2 in one corner. He gets his teammate and then gets the McLaren. Was there a bit of team orders in there maybe? I don't know, but that's a great move from Ghost. 2 into 10. And he's going to be going after Reshka now. Bit of history between these two, of course. First race, Reshka raced in APPF1. Ghost took him out. Welcome to my league is the meme. And down the inside he's going to look to go. Reshka's going to defend it around the outside though. Side by side they go. Reshka swoops around the outside in that Williams and does not let him through. We'll keep an eye on it again. Still keeping a close eye on Finley and Ryderdal as well. Got to cover some of the midfield action, of course, though. As there's always some fun fights up and down the grid. But we're getting into that detection zone now. We've got to cut back to the leaders. Finley, Ryderdal, Aston Martin piling on the pressure. Closing. This is going to be the move. Finley's going to defend with all he's got. Can he swoop it around the outside? He's definitely going to try. Breaks as late as he dares. And in fact, it's a bit too much. Sends him off the track. Over the sausage curb as well. And that's job done for Ryderdale. And the pressure not soaked up well by Finley. He's going to stay with him. And we're going to come back to that. Ghost and Reshka, meanwhile. Big battle for P11 in this race, sorry. Ghost is going to get the move. Izzy, he's going to draw level with Reshka, but can't quite do it. Reshka got the speed down the straight. That's Tomek out of the race. Yellow flags. He's lost it at turn 3. There's that stricken Ferrari. And Koru's getting involved now as well. Ghost looking for a way through. Obviously, you can't overtake from the yellow flags. No safety car, which was interesting for that incident. It's 3-1 France. Who is it this time? Mbappe? We'll find out. Dembele again. Hat-trick. Norway getting picked apart here. And you know what? It's reasonable. There's only so much you can rely on Haaland. Reshka now getting involved with Ghost once again. Actually, I thought it was Dake who might have been in it, but Dake is in no man's land, well up the road. And Ghost into P10 now. So that's what we're fighting over. P10. When did that happen? Who? Oh, it was Tomek, of course. Tomek crashed. Hugo's actually in this train now as well. Lots of cars battling for position here, and Hugo's going to go for a move on Jakalako to start that recovery drive off. If he can get back in the top 10, he'd have done well, but Jakalako not going to let the Swedish driver through. But that's Runes well off the circuit. And oh, big contact with Bavish. Bavish is round. Can he save it? He sort of does. Doesn't go into the barrier. But again, he might feel a bit aggrieved. Not beached, thankfully. But Bavish, I don't think he'll be too happy with that one. A bit of contact between the two drivers there. Koru and Reshka side by side through 5. Oh, and they've locked together almost and almost took each other off the track. And that's going to invite Hugo down the inside of Koru there as well. They're side by side still. Hugo making more moves through risky parts of the circuit. Ran the outside this time at turn 9. You didn't like the inside, Sumo. How about the outside? And an outside of 10 as well for Hugo. Making his way through. Koru's going to try and do the same thing. Can't do it this time. Reshka making that car as wide as humanly possible. He's hit the Giga Kubica button and is keeping behind the McLaren. Great fighting in the midfield. Ghost now the leader of this train, and not for much longer, you'd have thought, as Hugo charging down the main straight and straight past Ghost. You don't want to stop the tyres, that's it. Controller. No, battling for control of the spectator menu. Oh dear. Chris and Moob still locked together, as they have been all race. Finley, will he reside himself to second place? Both at similar levels of battery in this lead, but they're not chopping and changing. Perhaps Finley will pull the trigger on this lead, battle for the lead. If Ghost can stay within 3 of Hugo, of course, then he's going to claim that P10 back. Maybe even Reshka can gain a position as well. So Hugo's got some work to do to open up 3 seconds. There's a big battle here. It's Grants and Carrez. This is for P7, and it looks like the Williams going to hold off the Alpine now. I couldn't quite see what happened. I think Grants maybe made a dive down the inside of 1, or Carrez went late on the brakes around the outside, but decent battling there. Very close, very on the limit. Reshka keeping his eye fixed on the back of that Audi ahead of him. Can he find a way through? Can Koru upset the apple cart? How about Jakalako? Can he get up within touching distance of his teammate? Rooms has fallen off of this fight now. Lawrence promoted up to P18. No points still. Of course, he's 16, 17, 18. No points there. Still the leaders. Keep it respectable. Six tenths. I mean, here's a stat that was impressive when I was looking through. The closest wind gap. Now, I'll let you guys in the chat have a guess at how close the wind gap is. I'll give you a couple of laps because we're about to get toward the end of this race here. I'll give you to the end of this lap maybe. Have a guess. Or actually, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you at the end. So you've got to the end to guess what the closest wind gap is around this circuit. As Koru goes for a very late move on Reshka. Reshka locks up and Koru sneaks his way through. I think Reshka was a bit afraid of getting into a collision there, and they're getting the contact again between the two of them as they're going through. Reshka's going to sneak down the inside of 4 maybe. It's very close between the two of them, but Reshka can't quite find the grip and can't find the way through. Meanwhile, back at the front, Finley, the gap is now 0.3 of a second. Is he going to do it now? Is he going to pull the trigger and start piling the pressure on this Aston Martin for this win? It's been these two since the pit stops. No one else has looked close. Finley, of course, a titan in APPF1. Ryderdow, the young upstart. Well, I say the young upstart. I don't know how old they are. I don't know who they are, to be fair. But the upstart in APPF1 as Finley looks for a move down the inside. And Ryderdow leaves the space. Can't quite make it stick on this occasion. Gets back in line and looks to try again. You can see those flashing lights on there. Finley is low on battery. Or at least recharging that battery. Maybe in none. Different philosophies of battery recharge as Scott gets past Runes. As Runes is in the pits. Scott will be hoping for one more retirement from this race. Then he'll get a point. And it would have all been worth it. Oh dear. I don't know if you're watching this after the fact, Scott. How hot is it up to north? What's to north like? I hope he watches that. That's Mahmoud ahead of Jack Alako through 7 and 8. Yeah, these Red Bulls. There's something wrong with these Red Bulls. Oh dear. I've definitely not been saying wing. It might be my accent. It's wind gap. If that's what you're asking, what I'm saying. I'm guessing the closest wind gap. I mean, you might be the only participant at this point. Everyone else might have checked out of my commentary for now. Maybe tired of my interludes on the football. It's still 3-1 by the way. We're at the 39th minute. And if you wanted to know, I don't think there's many French drivers in it. I know a guy from Norway. I used to play CFEs with the guy. Really nice dude, actually. That's Koru now battling with Ghost. This is the fight for P11. Ghost is going to hold the McLaren off. The McLaren seeks around the outside, not scared to trade some paint. And Ghost, oh no! Ghost loses the rear, and it's going to plummet down to just ahead of his teammate, who then also gets ahead. Oh, what's happened there, Ghost? Absolute disaster. Perhaps he's just put a little bit too much down on the power, but we're closing this race out now. The leaders on the final lap. We've got to keep some coverage on them. 32 in Newcastle. Damn. I mean, I'm all the way down in Kent. And I think the hottest I've seen it is about 32 as well. So I feel your pain. I really do. I mean, I'm lucky enough to work in I say fully air-conditioned building. It's when it works. It's nice. But I've had most of the aircon for most of the day. So that's nice. But it doesn't always work, especially when you're actually moving about. But Ryderdow I think, has looked like the favourite for this race. Finley has done everything he can to try and beat this man on track, but on debut, we don't get many debut winners here on Tier 1, but this is one of them. Ryder now comes to cross the line to win his first race in APPF1 Tier 1. Finley's going to follow him along as well. Lifeboat, familiar name on the podium, crosses the line to finish this race in P3. Moob crossing the line with his teammate. Can Chris get ahead of him? He can't. Chris in Chris fashion crashes along the line. Kvyat Verstappen crossing the line as well. Let's cut back into this fight up here. It's Koru. Can Reshka get his way through? Can Mahmoud in the weirdly built Red Bull? They've really let the cat out of the bag now. Adrian Newey's gone, haven't they? Koru's going to hold on, it looks like, for P11 in this race. Hugo 10th was the best he can manage. But Reshka's going to come home in 12. Mahmoud there as well. And Ghost, he's pitted for the fastest lap. No? Or for some damage? I don't know why he's pitted, but Scott will be happy because he's got a point. Yeah, definitely not for the fastest lap. Perhaps the car was just undrivable, maybe some damage on that front wing for Ghost, but he will be kicking himself that that's how his race ended. That ended, it has. What do we think? Good race. And I'll tell you that gap now. That gap was between Ghost and Lifeboat. It was 0.019 seconds. 200ths of a second. More or less. That was the closest wing gap we've had here at this Catalonia track. And I'll definitely be asking you guys through these stats again, because they are fascinating. And a fascinating championship we are going to have on your hands, folks. And it's kicking it off. An Aston Martin double podium, a 1-3, and Finley, of course, in P2. There we are then, your podium sitters, of course, Ryder, Finley and Lifeboat. You know the names, you know where they finished. Moob and Chris in P5. Please stop fighting me, controller. Chris RBL in P5. Kvyat Verstappen is 6. 7th is Grants, Carez and Daka in 8 and 9. Hugo finishes 10th with then Koru, Reshka, Mahmoud, Jakalako, Scott and Ghost, Runes, Lawrence, Bavish, Tomek. The rest are... and Rubiowski there as well with Bavish, Tomek, Rubiowski not finishing the race. Everyone else qualified, but I think due to the heat, anyone who completed 22 laps or 20 or 22 laps will be classified anyways. But if you're not in the top 15, it doesn't matter. No points for you. Well, that's it. Not sure I can really do interviews with a lot of these drivers. I feel like they're mostly on PC. You know what? I'm gonna spare them the interviews today because of the heat. But we'll try and do interviews again when it's a little cooler. I'll spare it for now. But fantastic racing for everyone. And fantastic to be back in the comms box. I should be here for every race bar one. Just happens it falls on my 2-year anniversary with my girlfriend, so I can't be. I cannot get out of that one, unfortunately. But I will be here for every other race as well. So join me Friday nights in this sweltering heat for more APPF1 action. Of course, if you haven't checked out Tier 1 and Tier 3, go do that. Check out those streams. Our team work incredibly hard. And of course, the last round of racing this week will be the F2 Cup on Sunday. And that will be that'll be broadcasted and brought to you by the brilliant Dakar himself. So get over there and get involved in that. But that's going to be it from me. Thank you all so very, very much for watching. I do appreciate it. Subscribe and all that nonsense. And don't always feel free to jump in on the live chat as well. I do appreciate the company from everybody as well. Oh, you wanted the gap to leader. I'm sorry, haven't it? I remember. Hopefully, there won't be an interesting football match on next time I'm commentating. Then I'll be able to see more of the chat. But thank you all so very much. As I said, I've been Sumo, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Well, sooner than you think, I suppose, as it'll be on the podcast. But I'll see you again on Friday for some more Tier 1 action. Good night.